Hey everyone, welcome to another $1,000 strap search. I've got my 1,000 in singles here and I'm about to show you what I found. But before I do that, let's talk about this week's tip. You guys always see me do $1,000 strap searches. And some of you may wonder, how can he spend $1,000 every single week searching through $1 bills? Well, that's the thing. You see, I don't spend $1,000 every week. It's the same $1,000 for the most part. I will search the $1,000 in singles. I will pull out my 20 notes or whatever, but that still means I have $980 left over. So yeah, I'm showing the 1,000 notes, but it's not like I spent $1,000 because for the most part I still have all of the money. So remember, when you're strap searching or coin roll hunting for that matter, it only costs you what you pull out. If you have a good week and find a bunch of stuff, well, that's great. That's what you're trying to do. But if you have a bad week and don't find much, all it cost you was time. And nowadays, it seems like a lot of us have a lot of time. So that's my tip for this week. It's not how much you're spending, because you're not necessarily giving up that money. Yeah, it's $1,000 in cash, but most of it goes right back to the bank anyway. All right, that's my $1,000. Let's take a look at what I found this week. Got a pretty healthy stack. Found another Where's George bill. That one is a familiar sign for me. I will check it out and I will log it because I always do. Found another stripper note. I didn't know there were so many strip clubs around here. But yeah, it's virtually transparent, soaked in baby oil. Whenever I find a stripper note, I giggle and make sure to show it and throw it back in circulation. I do have a birthday note. This one, once again, is one of those backwards birthday notes, 1921 0730. So 1921 is the year, and July 30th would be the date. More of an anniversary note, I guess you'd call it. I did find some trinaries. This one's zeros, fours, and fives. Ones, twos, and threes on a Minneapolis note. The zeros, fours, and fives on this one. Zeros, ones, and fours here. A little bit of writing on there. Probably can come off with an eraser. Zeros, fours, and eights. Zeros, threes, and fives. Nice crisp bill. And of course, a trinary, twos, zeros, and fours. It's got four of a kind, four zeros. It's got the fifth zero in there to make five of a kind, and somebody wrote on it. So yeah, it could have been a really nice bill, but that's what happens when you're strapping circulated money. Sometimes you will find circulated money. Another quads, quad twos, and it's got the fifth two to go with it. Another quads there, also a trinary, ones, twos, and sixes. Another trinary and quads, ones, fives, and eights with the quad eights in the middle. Three ones as a trailer. It's kind of neat. Did find stars. Nice star note here. Kansas City J note, crisp condition, really good star note. Another one here, not quite as nice. Dallas. This one's fairly circulated. This one starts my older bills. This is from 1999. Another 1999 here. Condition on these aren't that great. This one's got a heavy crease. Another 1999, lots of wear on this one. 1988A, somebody actually cut the bill. It's not even a tear, that's a cut. 1988A, still showing some wear. And the oldest bill in the group, actually fairly good shape. This one is a 1981. 1981, and it's an I note. Chances are this will be an addition to my binder. All right, so that's what I found this week. What did I bring up from my box? Well, this was one of my recent purchases, and it was graded, and that's the part that shocks me. This, as we get a little closer, is a 1928 $10 gold certificate. I always was fascinated by the $10 gold certificates. I always thought that the $20 gold certificate was like the standard, since the 1 ounce gold coin was a $20 coin. They did make the $10 coins as well, but you just don't think of a paper bill as a $10 gold certificate. $10 bills as the smallest gold certificate, that was the smallest one available. And of course, 1928. They did a 1923 as well in a gold certificate. But I'm a big fan of the small size $10 note, just because To me, like I said, it shouldn't necessarily exist. The 1 ounce one seems to have been the standard. So when you're looking for gold certificates, this is the lowest denomination you can find. Now, gold certificates you can tell because they have the gold Federal Reserve seal, and they used gold or yellow or orange, however you want to put it, for the serial numbers themselves. So that would be this one here. You can see right there, 1928, series of 1928. Now, one of the changes from the large size to the small size gold certificates is the large size gold certificate used this color on the back of the note. And as you can see here, this particular one uses green. So if you were just flipping through a bunch of notes from the back side and saw this, you wouldn't even realize you had a gold certificate. Now, one of the more interesting things about this is the condition. It's got some kind of mark here. These are some pretty heavy-duty creases here. If you look at the bottom, another serious crease right here. And as I flip this over, take a look at this top edge. I mean, yes, you've got a crease there, but right here, you even have paper missing. And I was stunned when I saw that because, as you guys have probably noticed, PMG graded this particular note as a 20. Now, that's kind of an eye-opener. I don't know if the grading companies go easier on older bills compared to new bills. When it comes to grading stuff, I'm familiar with baseball cards because back in the day we used to send those off to get graded. But it always seemed that the newest stuff they were extremely harsh on, and the old stuff had a lot of leeway. And to me, this seems to be in that category, that older stuff having a lot of leeway. They gave it a 20, even with that much of the bill completely gone. Shocking to me, but yeah, I find that rather interesting. I remember watching a video fairly recently where a guy opened a 1986-87 Fleer wax pack and pulled out a Michael Jordan rookie. You saw him pull out the rookie from a pack on camera, and he sent that in, and it was graded a 4 out of 10. I'm like, really? It came from the pack. How is that a 4? And, I know it's a completely different grading system. But once again, if you were to show me a card in that condition that was a 1960 Mickey Mantle, I'm sure that would have gotten an 8 or a 9. And, like this here, this is an older note. Rough, extremely rough there. And PMG still called it a 20. Kind of a surprise. But it's a 20. There's no arguing about it. There it is in the case. The last thing I'm going to do is take it out and resubmit it. It got a 20 on there, and I'm happy with that. But that's where something called eye appeal comes into play. Don't ever just go by a book when it comes for value. Also take into consideration eye appeal. I looked at the grade on that. I looked at the price on that. I looked at the eye appeal on that, and the price to me was well worth it. There's the $10 gold seal note from 1928, and you can see that they printed 130 million of those. Granted, most of those were taken out of circulation. Even in VG8, this is a $100 note. At 12, you're talking 125. This one is graded at 20, so no arguing. It's a 20, and at 20, it's 175 bucks. I paid less than the VG price for this particular one. But yeah, once you get them into really good shape, you're talking Gem 65, you're talking $1,750 for that particular note. But yeah, when you look at how it was graded, hard to argue with the price. I mean, I think I paid $95 for a graded 20. All right, guys, so that's what I've got for you this time, a 1928 gold certificate. If you learned anything new, go ahead and hit that like button. If you like what you see and you want to see more, please subscribe. I love reading your guys' comments, and I'll see you again next week.